Hello all, I hope you're doing well today. This is going to be a very short video, but I wanted to go ahead and get this out because I did this last season of Cobra Kai, but I did not release those videos yet. I might end up doing that eventually, but I wanted to do an episode-by-episode review of Cobra Kai Season 6, so full spoilers for Season 6, Episode 1, which is what I'm going to be talking about in this review. I'm not sure about the name of it. It's like Peacetime or something. It's weird. I have been excited for Cobra Kai Season 6 pretty much since the end of Season 5, because if you saw the end of Season 5, which I hope you did if you're listening to this review, if you saw the end of Season 5, you know that John Kreese faked his death not once, not twice, but thrice, walked out of the center, and now he is a fugitive, and we are going to be seeing what he's going to be doing. So that ending was really, really cool, and I'm just really excited to see what happens in this season. And I know this review sounds very like fake enthusiasm, and I really try not to do that, but I actually am very enthusiastic about it, and I'll tell you why. Because believe it or not, if you're not familiar with my channel, I do quite a bit of criticism of shows, even if they're shows that I really like and I don't like a particular episode. So I'm not a person who pushes just almost total positivity, but in this review I'm going to, because I have to give a big hand to the writers for what they did in this first episode. Because at the beginning of this episode, I was watching Johnny Lawrence and Chosen and Daniel kind of butt heads, and I was thinking at the beginning of that episode, this is getting so old. Can we please stop doing this? So I was so ready to give this episode a negative review for that, to just say, please stop with the old conflict. Stop with being friends and then being enemies again. It's so old. But then they did a 180 and they turned it around. They thwarted our expectations. So first of all, the whole thing with Chosen wanting to fight Johnny, right? We saw that and we found out that they both kind of had things going on behind the scenes that were sort of pushing them. Chosen was angry that he lost to Silver, and he was sort of trying to prove himself because Johnny was talking about how his fight was more epic and stuff, and the two of them were butting heads about that. And then you find out there's some stuff going on behind the scenes with Chosen as far as stuff going on in Okinawa, like with Komiko. But the whole thing about it was just the feeling of failure, and he felt like he had to prove himself. And then you had the thing going on with Johnny Lawrence, where he's trying to figure out, okay, what's going to be the identity? Yes, we are working together as friends, but at the end of the day, Eagle Fang, Miyagi-Do, what should it be? I still want to go in my own direction, even though we're kind of doing the kumbaya thing right now. And it's pointed out, Johnny Lawrence is always going to be Johnny Lawrence. Some people just don't change all of a sudden just because they have a good month or something where they show some improvement. And Johnny Lawrence, to be fair, did show some improvement, but he did show that maturity by the end of the episode, because all it took was for him to take a reflection on things and say, you know what, this is not what I want. Cobra Kai, that's Kreese's thing. That's not my thing. And I really thought we were about to rehash Season 4, because if you remember at the beginning of Season 4, it's like they both have to teach, but they're trying to find, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we did this 2 seasons ago. Like, can we just stop with this? We don't have to rehash Season 4. But turns out they didn't do that. I think they did that just to say, okay, from here on out, we're going to assume that this is peacetime. We're going to do a little bit of work to make this a little bit more realistic and tie up the loose ends. And I appreciate that they kind of get to the chase on this. I mean, it would have been nice to have this episode just start with everyone as friends, but this is Cobra Kai, so you can't really expect them to do that. So, like, yes, they have the thing with Samantha and Tori kind of butting heads, and they bond over the thing. They have the thing with Kenny there, and of course Kenny isn't totally in on this for most of the episode. I mean, surprise, you have his older brother sort of saying to give the kids at Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang another chance, which I thought was really cool as a development. I really love that character beat, because this isn't the same guy we saw in prison before that was fighting Robbie Keene. This is a different guy who's kind of learned, and Robbie Keene's kind of learned, and Robbie Keene talks to the guy and kind of gets to him, and he says, this is not your concern. But then the guy kind of sees through him, and then, you know, you see Sean talking to his little brother Kenny, and he's like, you know, you got beat up by 2 girls, and you're like, oh no, I see how this is going to go. And then he's like, hey, you need to let go of all this stuff. This is stupid. Maybe you need to give Robbie Keene another chance. And oh my gosh, that just felt so good to see that. And then to have Chosen and Daniel say, you know what, we're ready to let go of our whole thing where it can never be Cobra Kai or it can never be Eagle Fang. I mean, kind of saying that they're just the same thing, but saying, you know, well, the name of Eagle Fang is stupid. They're like, it doesn't really matter, you know, it's just, we're going to let that go, we're going to work together, and then turns out that Johnny Lawrence is still willing to have Miyagi-Do be the thing, and he's willing to concede that because him running into Stingray showed him that, you know, that's Kreese's thing. It's just a continuation of his legacy. I don't want to be like those jerks. I want to be a new guy. But Miyagi-Do is incorporating in the Eagle Fang logo. And everyone was saying Miyagi Fang, right? And I like that they kind of made fun of that by putting fangs on Mr. Miyagi. And it's so funny. And Miyagi-Do really is a good name to have, and incorporating everything into Miyagi-Do. I really, really, really like that they did that. Yes, this episode, at the beginning, it was kind of dragging a bit, and I was dreading this, but toward the end, I was like, oh, thank goodness. And then we had the thing with we had the thing with Kreese coming back at the end, and yes, that did feel a little bit rehashed, but it's fine. It's one little thing in the episode I wasn't really a big fan of. I trust these guys who are writing this story to do something good with Kreese, because my gosh, they've just proved themselves so many times with this show that they know what they're doing. And even if there's a development I don't particularly like in the season, at least it's going to be heading in a good direction. And I'm so excited to see this. I'm going to be watching episode 2 tomorrow, and I'm going to be watching one episode every day, 1 through 5. And I'm really just looking forward to it. So, yeah, Cobra Kai season 6, off to a great start. I'm excited. And let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'm really excited to see what happens with this new season and final season. Thank you guys very much.